Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here, and welcome to part 2 of my Hard Get There Challenges video for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. In this video, I'll be showing you all 10 challenges on the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 levels. We'll get started really quick, but I wanted to mention 2 quick things. The challenges in the second game are a lot harder than the first one, you've been warned. And number 2, when you're landing a manual, make sure you hold the jump button. This will allow you to keep more speed through your manual. I think a lot of people didn't know about that, and I actually just recently learned about this as well. Also, you can do any of these challenges in free skate if you're wondering. Let's just jump straight into it, starting with the Hangar level, one of the easier ones in the game for sure. From the middle half pipe, you'll want to boneless out of the half pipe, making sure to land on the lighting at the top, make the small gap to the second pair of light, and then do the turn on the third pair of lights, and you'll grab it. That's it. Next up, we have School 2, which I would personally consider the second hardest one in the game, at least for my skill set. For this one, there's a lot of manualing. Also, I consider myself a little bit lucky on this one. I only had 8 speed stat points because I was testing something, and I made a big mistake at the beginning of the combo by doing an unnecessary manual. We'll start this one by doing the roll call rail grind at the bottom here. I like to jump off into a manual, into a wall ride, and try to land on the downhill section to keep your speed. Steer left to do the rail-to-rail jump. Jump at the end of this so you can get as far as possible into a manual. Keep that manual to the left from the kicker onto the next roll call. Go around the corner. Make sure you jump right to avoid the basketball hoop. Onto the next grind to keep your speed up. Manual as far as possible to try to grind the white and red barrier. Do the gap from barrier to barrier into a manual. Grind up the rail onto the lockers, do the gap from the lockers, wall plant, and then you'll want to either manual or grind your way back to the rail and ride it all the way down. Also, really quickly, because this one has a lot of variations, if you do this one in free skate, you can actually knock over the basketball net to do a grind instead of a manual across a small section in the corner after the second roll call. Additionally, at the top, instead of doing the whole locker grind and the wall plant, you can try to manual and turn around. I thought this was a little bit harder, but for some people it might be easier. Next up, we have Marseille, which I believe is in the middle in terms of its difficulty. We'll start with the over the box gap, but we're going to transfer out of it to land on the deck. Our goal here is to get on the ledge grind as quickly as possible. Once we're on the ledge grind, continue that to the next ledge and then do the ledge to rail. Jump off the rail over the box into a manual. Hit the rail here sideways so that you don't get too much speed, rail to rail. Manual out of it without jumping, then do the box to box by jumping pretty late and then hold your manual out, doing the dumpster pop at the end. This one can be tricky but isn't too bad. Next up, we're in New York City, which I think is one of the easier ones for sure. We're going to start with the you're in line next and sit down and grab a snack gap over here by doing the rails to the benches, back to the rails, and then onto the street. Watch out for the car. Our goal is to grind on the ledge and work our way back to where we started. Make sure you do the park entrance gap right here, and then jump off and hold a manual. Last but not least, do Joey's sculpture. You can actually end this one as soon as you touch it, but I just wrote it all the way down to be safe. Next up, we have Venice Beach, which I initially thought was really easy, but then it took me 2 hours. Obviously, you'll want full stats and a special meter. Approach this ramp boneless and connect it to the metal quarter pipe on the roof, making sure to get the ramp to roof gap. Hold that manual into this grind to get some speed and clear the roof for the canyon jump. Don't jump on your way down from the roof. Make sure you start this manual early. Keep right in the middle and left at the end to get the touchdown gap, and you should be done. This one's difficult because the first gap is really precise and requires perfect timing and a boneless. As well, the manual at the end is a little bit finicky and can sometimes just end if you're not on the correct side of the planks. We're now on Skatestreet, starting in the pool. We have to circle the entire pool with a grind, get that into an extension transfer by jumping on the ledge and making sure to keep the grind on the way down. Jump out of the pool and towards the back wall. Manual to the grind rail, try to get some decent speed. Wall ride onto the top of the quarter pipe and then grind the entire semicircle at the top. Get the gap onto the hanging rail, jump left as you come out, make sure you manual and do the small over the wall gap to end it. Next up, we're on Philadelphia and we'll need to get onto the balcony from the start. This one involves a lot of grinding, by the way. So get up onto the balcony and we will start by doing the telephone gap by jumping off this rail onto the telephone pole. You want to jump down and to the right into a manual. I should have jumped down a little bit earlier, honestly, looking back at the clip. Hold the manual over the entire right side of the box to get the funny box gap. Do the bench to ledge gap here into a manual onto this ledge. And then we'll have to grind the rail all the way from the bottom all the way to the top. We can break the grind as many times as we need. to get the fly-by-wire. At the end, I like to do the wall plants just to safely get down and avoid the bus. Number 17 is Bullring. I'm embarrassed by how many hours this one took me and how many times I got close without actually clutching it. But from the start, we want to use the outside quarter pipe to get the nail the rail gap. Don't go too fast, or else you'll have too much speed and you won't be able to transfer to the wire that runs the other direction. From the wire, jump down to the top of the quarter pipe straight into a manual and then launch yourself to the banana. Jump out and hold a manual, making your way towards the outer ring. Do a jump, revert manual onto the bar, and then do the last gap here. I had a weird glitch where it just shot me into the sky for some reason, but I think I earned it nonetheless. This one can be very difficult, and there are a couple of variations, but for the most part, that's what you need to do. Also, I owe a quick shout out to Kuyonn, who helped me kind of develop this strategy. They did it in a much harder way because they're much better than me, but shout out to them. We're now in the home stretch of chopper drop. This one's super easy. Just get a lot of speed, get your special meter up, do a quick boneless to get that real big height out of this ramp, and then just boneless off of the ledge. Get 90 feet and you're good to go. There's not really much to this one. Last but not least, we have Skate Heaven, which could have been a real pain, but is actually pretty easy. This one takes place on these kind of blue grinding rails, and we need to do 4 quick succession gaps of grinds where we stay on the left, then go to the right, and then switch across back again to the left. This one's just all about timing because of how curvy the rails are. There isn't a lot of room for error in terms of your timing. And with that, we have all 19 of the hard get there challenges in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. All you have left if you want to go for the completion are the gaps and level 100, which is a real grind, wink wink. I'd like to thank you so much for watching the video. Drop a like if it was helpful. Share the video with a friend if they're also looking for a little bit of help. Special thank you to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Shout out Puffy Vins and Elder Ghost. I'll see you in one of my future videos. Peace.